Welcome to the Shiproom. You're on the air.
Oh my God, don't put that in.
So the word analyst first appeared in the English dictionary in the year 1656. And so for the next 16 to 56 minutes, I'm going to be talking with Nick McQuire here, one of my favorite analysts from CCS Insight.
Brad, thank you for having me. I'm really looking forward to it. I love the sofa.
You actually go out and survey end users. You know, there's a lot of research in the market that maybe talks about, well, here's what the IT professionals are saying. What are the key things that you're seeing that end users are saying?
The other piece that's really become clear over the last 12 months is around trust. And one of the things that we've noticed quite substantially is that actually trust in some of the big technology companies is increasing. There are ways where that trust is actually being undermined. We know a lot about what's happened in the last 12 months with some of the scandals that have occurred. We tend to think about that in the context of IT and the business, but actually employees are highly aware of that as well. And we've seen the trust levels actually change quite a lot around certain brands. Part of what we see is actually the companies that have arguably the most touch points with the employee, so whether it is a collection of apps, whether it is hardware, whether it is services as well, tend to be the ones where there is a high degree of trust. That's one aspect, but there's also an important aspect is really, I think, about those companies that have actually made security and trust a core part of their narrative to the industry, and that is actually now translated down to the employee level as well. That's really why we see trust is actually becoming a battleground in the industry. It's becoming as important, in our opinion, historically, as other areas of competition like developer ecosystems or product innovation.
We're getting a call on the Teams phone.
All right.
Let me check who it is. All right, you're on the air with Nick McQuire.
What is up, my dogs?
Hey, who's this?
I'm an A.I A.I.
An artificially intelligent
Artificial intelligence.
Am I speaking with Brock Anderson BTW?
Well, it's Brad, but I've heard about these before. It's kind of this concept of artificial intelligence can also be a way of saying really dumb.
Exactamundo, my dude.
You got the basic protoplasms of it.
So you have a question for Nick?
Right now.
Which industries are using AI the mostest and how is it getting used?
Nick?
Well, we see it across many industries. It depends on the use case. If we look at kind of those use cases that kind of address a lot of company requirements, things in cybersecurity, for example, areas in IT automation, I think some of the leading areas where we see a lot of interest are in the financial industry, for example, quite a lot of investment in cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, fraud detection, and so forth. I would say the banks are up there into that space. Regulated industries are still coming along, but I still feel that that's where we see a lot of action. And then, of course, the other big use cases around the customer experience industry that's heavily focused on consumer. Retail, for example, we see a lot of action in those arenas as well. So it's a real mix depending on the use case.
And we're using AI everywhere. We're using AI in how we help guide organizations, how to upgrade from one version of Windows to the next, how to upgrade from Office to the next. We put AI in how we actually give ideas to help organizations and specifically users create better content, create better slides. Really AI is everywhere in what we're doing across. It's just not in the cloud, it actually is in the applications that the end user are actually using. AI is just a part of everything we do now.
The world is really polarized, right? Yeah. It's either the greatest thing since sliced bread or it's an overhyped buzzword. But of course, what gets missed and overlooked is a lot of the AI that's just getting infused into tools and products, right?
Cool, right. I was listening to all that.
So what are practical, actual ways an IT team can start using AI, like myself?
Right now, Zers.
The padlock of the organization has shifted, hasn't it?
That's right.
It's shifted around the user and the identity of the user, and that is a very tangible kind of way in which we've seen that shift occur.
And that's a very practical application that's very real for every organization in the world, because every organization wants to talk to me about how do I prevent phishing attacks? Well, you can't. They're going to happen, and so you need to have capabilities to detect when something is off to take action, and you have to take that assume breach posture. And it's funny, it's not necessarily about who has the most data, it's who has the right data.
Right.
And so AI operating on, the right data is where all these interesting things happen. Did that answer your questions?
He's hung up now.
You know what? He hung up on us. That's pretty rude.
No, I'm still here.
I accidentally uninstalled my camera. Sorry, my dudes.
Check you laters.
You know, one of the most amazing things that's happening right now is I think everybody is understanding that experience that you give to your users really is one of the most significant drivers of culture. And organizations are recognizing that the culture is key not only to, empowering employees, but to attracting and retaining employees.
Absolutely. And it's quite interesting because one of the aspects that we see for companies that are quite mature around this workplace transformation area is that they now are starting to measure some of these impact
That's right.
areas.
What's the NSAT?
Exactly right. And I think employee experience is an area where we're starting to see companies take seriously and trying to look at ways in which they can actually measure that. Some companies take it even so seriously that actually they make that a KPI in IT as well.
Yeah, and it's actually one of the things that we've been looking at is, we've been helping organizations move to that modern desktop and that kind of modern workplace. What is the NPS before and after? If you don't see like a 10 or 15 point increase, I'd say you haven't really given the modern workplace. So Nick, it's been a lot of fun having you here. Thank you for stopping by.
Thanks for having me. It's been really good.
All right, so tell people where they can find you.
Follow me on Twitter at Nick McQuire, McQuire, or look me up on LinkedIn. I'd love to connect and have a conversation around these topics. So thank you very much.
Thanks everyone for watching. I'm Brad Anderson. This is the Shiproom. Tell me if you think AI will be able to do that.
Okay.
Finding a use for kale.
Definitely yes. Can't stand kale.
Negotiate peace between the United States and Canada.
No. Never. Never.
Hey everyone. Now that you've watched this episode of the Shiproom, I really recommend you go to Microsoft365.com/shift and learn how to get started deploying Windows 10 and Office 365.